Did you hear the bird? Like,
Yep.
did you hear it make the ah? And did it sound like Tom Kiefer
Weird.
was
Yeah.
screaming in your dryer?
Yeah, that's right. For you, it would have sounded that way.
Tom Kiefer's in the dryer.
What's Tom Kiefer doing in my dryer?
What's Tom Kiefer doing?
What is up, my man, Alex Huard?
You gotta tell the people what you were just telling me. I'm so sorry. I'm laughing. You've had a hell of a day, man. It has been a day for you.
I've had a day. So I'm
laughing. I'm only laughing because you were laughing because it's the end of the day. That's why I'm laughing. You've been through some shit today.
It is so busy day, but I was in Toronto. I was downtown, and I came back and I found out there's a bird in my dryer. Not just in, the ventilation is such that there's just a pipe that goes outside, right? And sometimes the birds kind of get through this vent and get into the initial little part. But this little bugger he's in the dryer and got stuck in the motor of the actual dryer itself.
You know what that tells me though? He's a fan of Rat.
Well,
because he likes to go round and round.
Wow. He went through the he didn't survive, put it that way.
God.
Yeah.
Pour one out for the bird. Sorry, your neighbor.
My neighbor's dad came over because I am not well versed in the taking apart of appliances.
The handyman department, me neither. I'm with you.
And so he comes over and we I've never done this before. I took an entire dryer apart. So the big, that's on the floor. There's parts over there, parts over there. So we're looking for this bird, and it's gross, but the bird's dead. So it's this mystery, right? Like, where is it? And so we got to the motor, and the bird was like in the motor.
Oh.
So squeamish, but we had to. And then the guys still have to put the dryer back together.
Yeah.
And it's like, what time is it? 10:15 right now.
Yeah.
So.
Oh,
what
man.
a day. What a day, man.
Just that alone is just... Yeah, get her going. No, take the cork out first. Take the cork out. God. Oh, it's those little things that just pop up, Like, this morning,
yeah.
Lewin woke up with a big poop. He had a real big poop. Lewin did.
What do you mean, like in his bed?
Well, it is diaper that mangled the diaper. So my day started with cleaning.
So what happened? Like, what do you mean? Did it come out of the diaper?
Yeah. It was it's because it's so big. Yeah. Sometimes these kids, man, they just have rippers that just like blow the thing wide open. And out it came. It was all on his leg. It was on his pajama pants. So
are you joking? Oh,
no,
my
man.
God.
No. Yeah.
So he just like completely destroyed his diaper.
Destroyed his diaper. Completely destroyed it. Usually, like what you do is you try and like take it out and you try and like fold it up and you try and make it like like fold up the diaper with everything in it, right?
Right.
Just for easy throwing away.
Right.
I had to take another diaper and put that diaper inside of that diaper. It was so messy. I took that, and then I had to give him a little bath. I was like, I can't let you, like, I gotta wash you with soap and water. So
now, how old is he?
It wasn't blood and guts, but Lewin's 2.5. He's
Good
2.5.
Lord.
So.
What did he eat? Was he at Taco Bell?
Oh, what did we have? No, you definitely think. What have we been having lately?
Is it just like this thing that happens every now? I've never had young kids, so like, does this happen every now and again? Just like a surprise kind of.
Yeah. I mean, like sometimes it's because you put the diaper on wrong. Sometimes it's because maybe he's like filled it too much in the middle of the night, and then the last little bit just sends it over the top. It's you never really know. You never really know why. Sometimes it's because the diaper's too small. You got to move up to the next size. I'm still trying to figure out this parenting thing, man. I don't know. You know, they're still alive, right? They're still eating, they're still breathing, they're still drinking. We're doing fine.
Yeah.
We're doing fine.
You're good.
I had to so I had to take the, you know, the nozzle to the pants this morning, but all good.
Ugh.
All good.
Did it kind of make you gag a little bit?
You know, by this point, it's just kind of like driving a car, man. It's like you just kind of like you're just kind of used to it. You know,
You're just completely unfazed. You're like,
kind of like unfazed,
like...
yeah. Well, it happened to us on the airplane. He had a big poop in the airplane and on the pants. So, like, what do you do? Well, oh yeah. So
I mean, like
my
you take him into the. Oh my god!
You take him to the bathroom. You change him out. You know, you get him a new pair of pants. You throw those pants in the garbage because there's no saving them. There's no like hanging on to them. So he loses a pair of pants. Yeah, you just throw them in the garbage.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Just garbage pants. But like, you know, it's not that so bad. Like my parents have had worse stories. I think when we were
with
kids,
you.
At least, well, I think mostly my sister. I think my sister peed on my dad once on an airplane. My sister had to change her son like there on the seat. Like because like
on the airplane seat,
yeah, something like that. Like there's just
good lord,
yeah. Sometimes you just gotta improvise, man. It's gotta improvise. It ain't no Cinderella story when you're a parent of some young kids.
You love those little segues now. Eh?
Sometimes they just pop in my head. I gotta take them. I gotta take them when I see them. You know.
I was gonna say we do have some good news.
Yes.
The good news is. This little number is going to get talked about tonight.
Look at that.
In addition to, I had the record of Long Cold Winter, but I don't know where it is. Somewhere around here. Couldn't find it. But yeah.
Like the actual vinyl of Long Cold Winter.
For Long Cold Winter?
Yeah, what you said? You had the record? Or
yeah.
Are you just saying, yeah?
No, I don't know where it is.
But it was the vinyl, is what you're saying. You had the vinyl of this. Okay, yeah. Cool, nice. I mean, not that it's a cool cover, but it's a
like, pretty simple, pretty plain.
Yeah, like what the hell is up with the
and bad? You know what? I'm going to say something. Like, 80s was an exciting time for band logos, right?
Yeah.
So we talked about this band.
Not this week.
One.
Rat.
You know, kind of a cool logo. Motley Crue, cool logo. Bad logo, Cinderella. Just kind of look goofy.
Terrible.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Not cool.
It's
Scorpions, great logo.
Looking. Yeah.
Iron Maiden, all the great fonts. Love Cinderella, bad logo. Anyway.
Awful. No, it's like, no, because it's awful. Like it's an awful logo.
Goofy,
like,
right? It could have been a lot cooler.
It should have been. Like, what's it supposed to like look like? I don't know. I don't get it. I'm spending way too much time talking about it.
It looks like it's almost supposed to be like a spider web or something.
Well, but why? Like, what is I'm just like, it doesn't do them justice. That's for sure.
I also want to talk. I want to get your impressions, and I kind of am guessing about what I'm going to hear here. But your impressions of the front cover and the gentleman on the front cover here, and you know their attire and their poses.
Do you know how old they would have been?
Yeah, like 23. 22, 23.
See, that's the hilarious part to me. They look like they should, like, for some reason, they look young, but they look like they're old. Isn't that weird? That's the thing that got me about the 80s, is everybody looks like they might be 20, but I would look at them thinking they're 30.
Like Mick Mars looked like he was like 60.
Well, yeah, 105. No, I know. But for some reason, whenever I look at like pictures of this, maybe just because of my perception when I was a kid of seeing older people looking like this, I was like, wow, you're old. So when I look at this and I see that, I'm like, wow, you must have been like 30 or 35 or something like that because you just look old. No. But they were in their 20s, dressing like this, with hair like this, posing like this, with their faces like this, and their fingers like this.
I know. See, you know what's really like, I am so ambivalent when it comes to that, because I'm looking at this right now, and I'm going, wow, that's really like not cool, right? But 14-year-old me was going like, wow, that's so cool.
These guys are in an alleyway with smoke, and it's pink, but it's so cool.
Pink and purple. And I'll tell you, man, when I saw the video before I knew anything about Cinderella, and
Okay.
I was watching what's called Power Hour
Oh yeah,
of all the metal videos on Much Music.
bringing back the Power Hour. Yeah.
Did not know anything about Cinderella until I saw that video, and I felt like I was going to explode. Like, I was so excited because they did everything. They looked cool. The song was amazing. They all three of the guitar players, the bass player included, had their guitar and they threw it over their shoulder, and it came back and they caught it. You ever see that?
I've seen it.
Malmsteen used to do that. Just throw
Yeah.
it, and then because the strap is on. But like and then the other guy like put his finger on the headstock and pushed it, and it went back reverse the other way. And I'd never, it's kind of funny. I'd never seen that as a 14-year-old kid. I was like, holy crap!
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it. Like, I literally felt
awesome.
like I was going to spontaneously combust.
Yeah.
I couldn't. I literally ran to the record store and bought that record. I bought this tape
That's so
as soon as I saw that.
It's so cool. Like, that's the trigger, right? It's like, wow, look what these guys did with their guitars. I got to go listen to this. This is so great.
I was thinking about when I was thinking about this earlier today, looking at this record and the cassette and all that, the powerlessness that you had in 1986, relative to your TV and your intake of media and music and everything, was a little bit painful, right? But only because you know what you know now. But before, it was like, you see the video and it's gone. You can't rewind it. You can't go get it on the internet. You can't do anything. So you just sit there and you go, how do I get closer to this band? I have to go and buy the record, But now, if you see something on the internet that you think is interesting, you just watch it 20 million times, or you go and watch another one of their videos on the internet. You know what I mean? Like, it's just all there for you. But before, it wasn't, and it was like literally almost like it was painful to a degree.
Yeah. Well, it was like in 1997 when Backstreet Boys walked off the airplane. I was like, I gotta go get this album.
That's exactly what it was like.
I do want it that way, so I knew I had to get it. So it was. I get it. I totally understand the feeling. I totally understand the feeling. So, it was funny. I was just thinking about this. We kind of talked a little bit about this last week about it's not the same as it once used to be with music. I mean, I feel like we talk about it every fucking week, but then I was kind of like, maybe I'm just not seeing it right. But I was, like. But then I got back to thinking about this when I was listening to Cinderella. I was like, no, like it's not the same. It can't ever be the same. Maybe in a way that's like psychologically you have your artists, you have your people you want to listen to. But there's just so much out there today that you can't be committed and devoted like you were at the time to, the 7 or 8 bands. I know there were more than that, but that was like really what it felt like. What I understand it like back then, right?
Yeah.
Like you went through your phases, you had a couple people, but there's just billions of artists that you just like, you don't even have an opportunity to attach to have parties to that you specifically put on an album. Like it just isn't. So I don't know why I'm bringing it up again, but I just felt I felt that today. I was trying really hard to be like, no, like, why can't it be the same? And I'm like, it's just because there's too much. There's just too much.
There's too much, and there's too much. There are too many available channels to receive the too much information. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's just
totally. That's just to your point about YouTube, like going and being able to look at whatever you want to look at. That's where I was coming from with making that comparison after my Backstreet Boys, understanding.
Yeah. But it's true. Like it's almost like, where do you start? I don't think it's necessarily a good thing. On the face of it, it's great that you have access to everything and you can, go and look at old videos or new videos and everything in between. But back in the day, you kind of had to like wait, and as painful as it could be, I mean, it kind of taught you a couple of lessons about life in general. I'm not going to start philosophizing, but I don't know. There's something to that that's important to me.
Mm-hmm. Being patient, waiting.
Yes, Tolerance.
Waiting for the next album, waiting for that, that tour, waiting. Yeah. The tour you could afford, the show that you could afford to go to, the show that you had to work a couple shifts, or extra to go to. Now you have to work a full-time salaried job to afford any kind of concert ticket, right? Like, and even then, you probably can't afford it. You're just dipping into credit to try and buy this right. ticket.
Exactly. The same year I bought that Cinderella tape, I went to see Metallica at the Sudbury Arena, and the ticket is on the wall over there under glass. $10.50. $10.50 to see Metallica in their prime master puppets.
Well, hey, let's get into it. We spent a lot of time here. This is a nice little intro. I didn't mind that, but nice little kickoff to the Cinderella albums.
So what I would like to propose that we do, in the interests of time and your potential boredom, we don't need to go through every one of these songs.
Okay.
I appreciate the fact that you're taking on 2 records here in one show. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we'll do, if you're amenable to this, is we'll just go through the songs that you liked from every record, and we'll talk about why I inserted this in the lineup, because there is a reason for it. Okay.
Okay.
So again, we're on a road, right? So we're on a
road.
Post Billy Idol, we did Motley Crue, we did Rat, we're doing Cinderella. There's a reason why I wanted to stick them in here.
Okay.
And then, we do what we do. Well, we have a little surprise actually at next show, which people are going to like, I think. And then we'll keep moving forward. But there's a reason why I picked Cinderella and these 2 records.
Yeah.
And I may as well just tell you now. So, first of all, love Cinderella. Like, truly, we talked earlier about me seeing that video, and like I was blown away by these guys. Mm-hmm. But after all of that, after kind of the icing, the cake for me was Tom Kiefer. So Tom Kiefer is, kind of the nucleus of Cinderella. And if you know anything about Tom Kiefer, he can sing, he plays rhythm guitar, he plays a great, not just a capable, he plays a great lead guitar. He plays piano. He plays the saxophone, believe it or not. He is a special guy in my mind. And he, you think about, we talked previously about Rat and Motley Crue kind of, trying to emulate Aerosmith and not quite getting there. Tommy Kiefer was there, in my opinion. I think he was just born at the wrong time, because he has that thing that Aerosmith had, and that, to a degree, Van Halen had. But he was, I always think about him being kind of trapped in this closed system where Cinderella and all the cliche glam metal was on the bottom of his prison, and then Aerosmith and the Rolling Stones was on the top, and he's kind of trapped in between. Cinderella really did not do him any favors, because everybody lumped him in with the Poisons and the Warrants and all those bands, whereas they should have really kind of recognized him as, somebody who legit could have been like in the Rolling Stones. That's a bold statement to say, but he could have. It wasn't until much later in the 2000s where he broke away from Cinderella and went off on his own and produced some really great music and kind of proved me right. And he's a special, special talent. And so that's why I wanted to talk about, Cinderella, for 2 reasons. Because they were they're in this thing, but like beyond. Tom Kiefer was just born at the wrong time.
Not as entirely successful as some of the other hair metal bands, though, right?
It's kind of a funny thing. I don't know why that would be, because you go through the checklist. Ballads, we talked about Rat, right? Ballads, they had them. And when we go through the record, like Nobody's Fool and Don't Know What You Got Till, it's right there, number 3, right? It's right in the prime spot. Mm-hmm. So it's not like people missed it like they did. Sweet Child of Mine was on side 2 of Appetite. They had the look, they had the songs, they had the attitude. They were fantastic players. So I don't really know what happened with Cinderella.
Do you think critics had a part to play in that too? I feel like they got slagged by critics, like especially for these two albums, and especially for the Long Cold Winter, was because they were trying too hard to be like the Stones or like Aerosmith. But
that's what I was going to say. The knock on them was kind of good and bad, because they said, I think Rolling Stone said about Long Cold Winter, said they suffer from influence-itis, because they sound like the Stones and they sound like Aerosmith. But I mean, all those bands did.
Yeah.
But in my mind, Tom Kiefer, when you listen to Long Cold Winter, the song from Long Cold Winter, that intro, that hangs with like any blues rock record of the 80s, in my opinion. It's good. Like, it's not fake. You listen to a lot of these bands, and it's just that it doesn't cut it. Kiefer did.
It was almost Zeppelin-esque, that song. Yeah, even the way he sang it, it just seemed very Zeppelin-esque too. Let's not jump ahead here, but yeah, okay. So I don't know. That was my thinking. I just felt like maybe they just got slagged by critics on their albums that didn't really help in their sales or something like that. I don't know. That's what I was thinking, because I think it was like 3 million. I know it's still a lot, but only like 3 million copies of Night Songs or Long Cold Winter sold. Like,
well, you'd think, like Bon Jovi. Take Bon Jovi, for example, right? Bon Jovi looked like that in 1986 to a degree. The music Cinderella was a little bit heavier, but Bon Jovi, how Cinderella got discovered, by the way, was by Bon Jovi. So Bon Jovi was at a club called the Empire Club in Philadelphia and saw Cinderella and saw Tom Kiefer and recognized him immediately as a star, to the point where he actually called his label rep and said, "You need to sign these guys. This guy is fire. Like, he's a star," is what he said. Tom Kiefer I recognize a star, and this is it. And they got signed on the power of that to Mercury Records. Bon Jovi. Yeah. So yeah, it's a mystery.
It is a little bit. Well, I was excited, actually, when Night Songs kicked off. I was excited about what was coming up. I was excited by how the song started the album. And
Isn't it cool?
It's
that really, intro with the bell and
awesome. Yeah. I mean, like, maybe a little AC/DC-ish, and the vocals actually is like a cheap Brian Johnson a little bit. Mixed with Axl Rose. It's kind of like not quite Axl and not quite Brian. It's like kind of this, here's my knock on it, that's the worst part of Cinderella, is the vocals. So
I anticipated that you were going to say that, actually.
Yeah.
Because the vocals can be grating if you're not into it.
Well, again, it's now, okay, so here, like, so Night Songs, Shake Me, Nobody's Fool, like, awesome 1, 2, 3 for this album. Right? Like, awesome. What am I like? Even nothing for like. These are all really good songs. This is a really good album.
I totally agree with you.
This is not a Rat. This is like guitar playing. If it's Kiefer, whatever, is like nice ups and downs. And you know what? Even I was listening to Shout at the Devil the other day again too, because you know why? You know what Hendrix said to me? He goes, what? Dad, can you put on that? Can you put on that 5 seconds to love song? And I was like, what? He's like, oh no, 10 minutes. Could you put on 10 minutes to love? I'm like 10 seconds to love. Yeah, he's 5. Okay. Yeah, he's 5, and he's like, I want to listen to 10 seconds to love. And I was kind of like, should I give into this? Anyways, I did. And even like that and Danger, like there's nice guitar. There's just moments in those songs, and that's why I liked it better than Rats Out of the Cellar, because I felt like, again, like I said, Out of the Cellar was just like this. Cinderella also great. Like they knew what they were doing here. My only thing is the vocals are just too. It's just too much the same throughout, and I really wish he wasn't screaming at me like that all the time, because I think that maybe what would it be under Somebody Save Me and From the Outside, or just Coming Home. Definitely Coming Home on Cold Winter, right? Like you kind of hear not this shake me, you know, like oh, no. Shake me. Oh, shake me. It's on all the time. You know, that's how we're gonna go through the song, just like that. You know, like
Wow.
You know, yeah, see, right? But that's exactly what he sounds like.
You're totally right.
Right? So I really wish there was some depth to his singing. That's honestly my only thing with Cinderella. Everything about this band is fantastic.
Oh, good. See, I'm so glad. This band, you know,
I digress.
No. We just did this is what we're talking about on this episode. Like, we're not going to do the standard, like, go through every song because there's too many of them. We'll pick and choose. But I want to talk more about what Cinderella was.
Okay.
And, like, I was talking about Motley Crue and saying, like, that was my band. But a funny thing happened when Motley Crue's next record came out, Theater of Pain. And I don't expect you to know anything about this, but it was a complete directional change. They started wearing, like, lace. Like, Vince Neil wore lace gloves. They like wore a lot more makeup, but it wasn't like the cool kind of like makeup that they had before. Nikki Sixx had a black and white polka dot outfit that he wore, and it was just really weird. Like, it was. I remember buying that record and going, "What did they do? Like, where did my band go?" And I left. Like, I left them. Because and it's funny because when you're 14, like, this is so important to you, right? Because you make such an investment in it, and it's like, I was so disappointed. Identify. Right?
Yeah, and all of a sudden you're asked to move in a completely different direction.
And it's like, oh, these guys they're not what I thought they were. They're not my band, and I kept an eye on them, but I let them go. Yeah. But then this band came, you know, and I was so thrilled when I saw this, and it was like, oh.
Yeah,
these guys.
Yeah,
that's
and awesome.
I listened to this, Alex, like this. I wore this tape out.
I bet you did. This is a great tape to wear out. You know, like Nobody's Fool is a killer. Do you label? I'm very shy to label things, but this is a ballad, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely, it is.
Obviously a ballad. Yeah. Okay.
And it's like it's a blatant ballad. Like it's like, you know, this is the slow dance, right?
Yes.
You know,
totally.
And and there was a formula to be followed here, and they did it. It's cliche, but they knew that they had to break onto the scene by doing this, and they did.
Yeah. Hell on Wheels is like just an awesome riff. It's not something you wouldn't find from any of these other bands or anything, but it shows flashes of the blues, right? This is where the blues come in, as in Hell on Wheels, right? The kind of slide guitar with some of that sound that he's got there, and that's cool. Like I loved Hell on Wheels. Yeah.
Big Aerosmith colors there. Like you really.
These two albums were the most I could feel the Aerosmith. Yeah. This from Cinderella. I didn't get it much from Rat. I guess I didn't really feel it a whole lot from Motley Crue. But like I get seeing them as an influence. But these songs, I was like, this is the kind of stuff that I was I was kind of hoping for from Rat outside of Round and Round, right? Oh, really? Like, would this kind of be more? Well, because when you think about the influence, Aerosmith was an influence. Mm-hmm. There would be more of that kind of bluesy feel, but I didn't really feel that from Rat, so that's all.
I find that those bands all have defining characteristics, right? And those records, really. So Motley was like Nikki Sixx's kind of design, right? In image with the fire and the blood and the leather and all that. Rat was guitar heroics. Like those leads were just like blinding. You know, they were. I just can't get enough of those on out of the cellar. But this is like that, the blues. You know, you hear the blues, and the songs are well written. Like it's a tour de force for me. Like I don't know. I just, again, something very special. Like Tom Kiefer basically is Cinderella. Like it could be called just Tom Kiefer. because he's, but
Maybe that's what
I
he was
don't know.
getting
There's just very, very special.
Maybe Cinderella, the word mark, it looks so terrible, but it's designed in such a way that if you flip some of the letters, it actually spells Tom Kiefer. Maybe that's what he was doing. Maybe that's the under. No. What's the Aerosmith song?
Same old song and dance.
It is same old song and dance, right? Though that's what In From the Outside reminds me of. This is good. This was a good listen. And then Long Cold Winter kicked off.
Okay. So can we talk about?
You tell me about. Yeah, absolutely.
So let's go back to like 1988 for a second. I think this came out in like July. Like it was perfect because it came out in the summer. I graduated from grade 13. I'm waiting for this record to come out. I'm super stoked. I'm hoping it's going to be really good. Yeah. And I hear Bad Seamstress Blues, right? That's that blues guitar,
Oh, yeah.
It's just picked, and I'm like, oh my god, like it's exciting because I'm like, what's this going to sound like? It's not night
100%.
songs, you know what I mean? So there's no like glam metal stuff. It's blues now. But I know it's almost like the Metallica records. So it starts with flamenco, and that there's something brewing underneath, and there's something that's going to just jump out, right? And sure enough, man, they play that cool little thing, and then falling apart at the seams. It's like pow, and it's like whoa, right?
Yeah. Oh man, it's like LaGrange, right? It's kind of like LaGrange, where LaGrange just kind of kicks out of nowhere, right? It's
exactly.
Yeah.
And again, see, that's the beauty of genealogy, right? Yeah. I'm so glad that you now are picking up on this stuff because that is a direct descendant of LaGrange, CJ Top. Like, beautiful. You're so right.
Yeah. This was awesome, man. This caught me too. Like when I was like, I listened to night songs, like cool, definitely 80s. It's, it belongs in that hair metal. Like I get it. But it's better than some of the other stuff. And then this started off, and I was like, "Holy, what are these guys doing?
Right?
What do they think they're doing?
But see,
who do they think they are?" But this was so good. I was like, "Yes, thank you. This is exactly what I was hoping for."
See, now you get why I brought both records in.
100%.
Right. So so one of them was glam metal. It has a place. But I wanted to show the progression of what Cinderella was really capable of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't understand why there's such a knock of this, as you said, the influence-itis. Like, what's the problem with that? Like, bring that, give me more of that.
People just think that it's lazy and that you're copying, and that you're not original.
I would love, I don't know, maybe if somebody knows of an Aerosmith type band out there today, send them my way. If anybody knows of a Cinderella band out there today, send them my way. I want to find out about these bands that are playing this kind of stuff today as well.
Right. Greta Van Fleet was a great example of that, Alex, right?
It's a fantastic point.
I was thrilled to welcome in Greta Van Fleet. I don't care if they sound like Led Zeppelin. I don't care if they sound like Aerosmith.
Nope.
Happy. Bring them.
100%. Crownlands as well. Yeah. Right. You know what? Fair point. Okay, so there's a couple. We got a couple covered for you folks. But if you know of any other ones, yeah.
So falling apart at the seams, even like that bridge, right? Like it goes, I don't know. It's in like a B, and then it goes do 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 do, and it goes high. Mm-hmm. My heart's like a wheel, and it just like it gets you ready for the chorus, and the chorus is like this huge sing along thing. Fall in, and it's like,
those kind of builds are totally Aerosmith too, right? It's kind of like ba-na-na-na, like those. That's
it's the 12-bar blues, right? It's like on guitar, like da 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 da, right?
Yeah,
tried and
we
true.
We say Aerosmith, but we mean Howlin' Wolf, Robert Johnson.
Totally.
You know that's who we mean, folks, okay? So
all the way up the line. Lightning Hopkins,
all the way up.
All those guys. Son House, right?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. And again, that's what that's one of the building blocks of the show is that like you watch this go down and you see like how the genealogy works.
Yeah, everybody builds on it, takes their own spin to it.
Yeah.
Makes it worse. Nobody makes it better. They just make it worse. That's really all they were able to do with this. Okay, tell me about Gypsy Road. What did Gypsy Road mean to you? Was this song big? Was this song big for you?
It was huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was, I think, the first single from the record. And
Right.
it's funny because this record very much repeated the Night Songs formula, right? So a banger, the single, and then the ballad.
Then the ballad.
So same formula.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right?
I love that though. I love being like oh, first, second, oh, the third song's a ballad. Then the next album, I don't know. I didn't listen to the next album. Good kickoff, killer second tune, ballad. I don't know. I kind of like. That was kind of nice that I knew it was coming.
Yeah, it just sets the table for you.
Was Gypsy Road a party song? Like, would they play this at parties and like you guys would sing along to it? Okay.
Yes.
I was just thinking, this could sound so ridiculous. Because when I was at parties, when I would party, you jump around, you're singing, right?
Oh, yeah.
And right, but you would have been listening to it either on a vinyl or on a CD. No, cassette. Okay. So that never.
So here's what we did, and I'm risking massive embarrassment right now by telling you this.
Okay.
But we had Walkmans, right? And so we would play this at a party, and like yell the words and act like lunatics. But my friend John and I used to like have our Walkmans on, and we would just like rock out. We'd be walking down the street, and I'd be listening to like Cinderella, he'd be listening to Van Halen or whatever, and we would just be like,
of course, doing it together.
Like, what's wrong with those dudes?
Got
right?
it.
But like, there was like I said in the last show, there was a glory about it where you knew maybe the music wasn't Born to Run or Dark Side of the Moon, but it didn't matter because it made you feel like you could jump over a building.
Absolutely.
And that's the specialness of this.
Yeah. Well, where I was going with my point was like, I was just worried that as you're jumping around listening to a vinyl or a CD, as if it would skip. So I just wanted to make sure that, you could actually listen to it jump around and it wasn't just skipping like crazy on you. So
that
the cassette,
too.
I get it. Okay. I guess a cassette. Yeah. When did CDs come out? Or late 80s, early 90s?
80s,
or not until
like
later 90s?
87, 88 was when they really started. I remember going to a party and a guy had CDs and I was looking at them going, am I going to be able to afford this? Like, what is this technology?
Right. Of course.
And it was, it's metallic, right? So it was this little CD and it was shiny and I'm like, how much does that cost? Like, this is crazy.
Of course.
And I had like my cassettes and I thought, oh God, like what's happening? I was actually a little bit startled by it.
Yeah.
And the first CD that I actually owned was in 1988 in university because a guy sold me Outlandos d'Amour by the Police. That was my first CD. Yeah.
Okay.
But then obviously I started buying my whole tape collection on CD, which, is awful because it's like I got to buy the Cinderella CD. I got to buy the Rat CDs. I went through all of them, bought them all over on CDs.
Yep. Got to convert.
Mm-hmm.
Don't Know What You Got Till It's Gone is an okay ballad. I wasn't big into it. I thought it was a little too long, and I was not like. I get that's a ballad thing, but I did like Nobody's Fool more than this one.
Actually, so did I. It's funny.
Yeah.
Because this is rootsier, but I prefer Nobody's Fool because it's kind of a little bit more streamlined and a little bit more. It's a little bit more powerful for me.
It's just the vocals. Like he can't sing like that on a piano song like this.
No.
Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do do do. Like
but it's funny. You're totally right. But who did that? Like in the next year and a year later, Axl Rose did that.
Axl,
right?
Absolutely. But I don't like it. I'm not a fan of Axl's singing. I'm a big fan. So
I always think it's funny, to hear that on a recorded product and think, wow, that's really cool. But if that person was sitting beside you doing that and you didn't know who Axl Rose was or who Tom Kiefer was, what would your reaction be? Would you be like, oh God, stop? It's like, Stop doing
It's
that.
exactly what I
Right?
would do. It's exactly
know.
what I would do. Oh, 100%. Yeah, no thanks.
Like, imagine at a party if a dude came in and started singing like that. You'd be like, fuck.
This guy
What's
out of
wrong
here.
with you? If you had no recollection of like Axl or Tough Kiefer or Brian Johnson, anything.
Zero.
Right?
Zero. Yeah.
It would be hard to take.
100%. Last Mile is an awesome tune as well.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not a fan of Second Wind.
No, me either.
I don't like
actually.
Second Wind. Yeah.
Is that this? Yeah, it is. That's the song that has that Aerosmith outro. Like, it's very obvious because the song kind of morphs into something else towards the end, and Aerosmith did that quite a bit.
Yeah.
So that's
definitely.
kind of an Aerosmith tell for me on this record. Yeah.
Yeah, it just wasn't. Didn't really feel it.
No, it's a clunker for sure. I agree.
Okay.
But Long Cold Winter. Oh my God, right?
Yeah.
Zeppelin and like good. See, this is the differentiator for me. Like, this is, you can't, you hear these bands and they're kind of pretenders, they're like, oh yeah, we get the blues, man. But this is like, I'd put this up against a lot of stuff. Long Cold Winter. Yeah. That's Kiefer playing actually that solo, I believe, in the big to intro the song.
Oh, really, eh?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow.
On a Les Paul. Just killer. I've seen them live a couple times, and he is just like, he is a star.
Right.
I can't say enough about the guy.
They stopped touring when 2017. They called it quits, I think.
Yep. I saw them a couple times in Toronto. They did a tour called Rock Never Stops with Poison, and they stole the show. They blew everyone else away.
It was cool. It was awesome. It was awesome. Again, thinking in '88, listening to this song,
right?
As a fan of the band, you're probably just like, oh wow, like you never even really thought about getting into a band like Zeppelin, or maybe you never thought about getting into bands who had this kind of style to them, and then you heard this, and you're like, whoa, and then all of a sudden you kind of find yourself back in the '70s listening to.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
It's funny because I had this backwards. We talked about this before, but I learned this backwards where I was in university and somebody said, hey, you should start listening to Zeppelin. And I did. And I was like, oh my God, I'm embarrassed that I missed out on all this stuff because I thought this was for like older people.
Of course.
But it was this. It was, this is where Cinderella got this from to a degree. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, Coming Home.
Coming Home is fantastic. Yeah.
This is like, I heard this. I was like, this is an immediate acoustic guitar learning song. I got to learn how to play this, and I got to sing it
Campfire.
next time. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this is what I'm talking about. The beginning part where I took a walk down the road, and you hear his voice.
Right.
And then I see the face, but I just can't. I'm kind of like, God, oh.
See, I
so good.
I've still got like a bad throat, and I was kind of hoping you're not going to make me laugh tonight.
Sorry.
Oh God.
Yeah, right. But like, that's just it. I was like, oh, this is so good. Like, why doesn't he sing more like this? Damn it, Dom. Still a great song.
It's Tom. You gotta let him go.
Fire and Ice. Take me back.
Not a big fan of this tune.
Yeah, the next two are okay. Yeah, I give both of these albums 4.5. Both of these get a 4.5 for me. Cinderella is a 4.5 band, which kind of makes, like, I'm also kind of like, I should have given Crew 4 after listening to these guys, but I didn't. It's the way Crew made me feel about their albums. These are better, folks. I'll tell you that much. I feel like these albums are better. Unfortunately, I didn't see them coming, so they get the same rating.
I'm very glad that I wasn't sure if I was going to include these, especially because you said, "Oh, this music all sounds the same," but I feel like this is a little bit different, and I feel, again, I'm not going to reiterate, but like Tommy Kiefer, the Tommy Kiefer effect kind of plays in.
Totally.
Yeah.
Killer, man. I'm glad you did. I'm glad I got to listen to these guys.
Awesome.
Glad I got to have a few new tunes to add to the playlist.
I will recommend, I know that you're kind of, sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. Listen to Heartbreak Station, the next record that came out.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You'll like it. It's really, really good.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I will. Does he sing the same way?
I'm going to just not say anything. Maybe it's a surprise.
Damn it, he does.
Of course he does.
Of course he does.
That's his thing.
Okay.
But it's good. There's a song called
does he
Shelter
talk
Me.
like that? That's what I don't get. When you talk to Tommy
No.
Kiefer, he's like, "Hi, how you doing? I'm Tom."
His speaking voice is completely, like, it's deep and it's totally different. And he's almost subdued. Like, when you talk to him, he's like this really mellow, slow speaking, almost sedate guy.
Can somebody please get me a guitar? God. All right, what's next? Where are we going after this? What am I plugging in? What am I plugging in?
All right. 80s. Next.
80s? Okay.
We're going to do David Lee Roth, Eat 'em and Smile.
Oh, Diamond Dave! Eat 'em and
Diamond Dave
smile.
is back.
Diamond Dave is back.
Is back.
Wow. Okay, I know a little bit of this. Okay, what is it? Well, he's got another one. This is Gypsy Rose, isn't it? Isn't
Yes,
Gypsy
it is.
Rose on this album?
Yankee Rose.
Yankee Rose.
Yep. Lead off single. The first track on the record. Yeah. I'm interested to see what you think of this. I actually think you're going to like it. It's a fun record. It's crazy. Like, there's all kinds of stuff on this thing.
Okay, all kinds of stuff. Okay, all right. Okay, cool.
I think you're going to dig it.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Bring back Dave.
Our 80s journey continues, my friend.
DLR.
Yeah.
All right. Well, off I go, I assume.
Off you go.
I
I'm
presume.
just going to put my dryer back together
Yeah, good. Is that what you got to do? You got to go put it back together now?
and make sure no more birds get into my house.
What are you going to do about that? What are you going to put some chicken wire in between your dryer and...
No, because that's it. See, that's the thing. It's a fire hazard. So you have to put a vent cover.
So you never had a vent cover before. It was just wide open.
The birds broke it. The birds,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're crafty little buggers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Buggers.
Anyway.
Well, have fun with that. WD-40. Okay. Maybe use a little OxyClean to get the blood out of the gears or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Is the bird gone? Like, have you gotten rid of the bits of the bird?
Yeah, I had to pick him out of there. He was like all seriously. He was like in the motor of the dryer.
Did you hear the bird?
Yep.
Like, did you hear it make the? Did it sound like Tom Kiefer
Weird.
was
Yeah.
screaming in your dryer?
Yeah, that's right. For you, it would have sounded that.
Tom Kiefer's in the dryer.
What's Tom Kiefer doing in my dryer?
What's Tom Kiefer doing? That's
on, man.
hilarious.
Don't shit talk Tom Kiefer.
I am shit talking Tom Kiefer's voice. Nothing else. Oh, okay, man. Well, good luck with that.